Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Travis Told You. God, speaking about back, my back is fucking hurt. It's back to sit in this chair, the day job chair. Oof, should get that fucking exercise ball. My God, I got no GIF. Oh, I'll use that. That's good. Why not? Yeah, we are back today on March 31st, the last day of March for 2026. I hope everyone is doing well on this fine Tuesday. As I said before, Tuesday sometimes the last, not the last day of the week. The first, no. Never the first, never the last. Sometimes the worst. It could be. I've made my case. It's on a Travis Told You episode. If you disagree, go back and find it. Which episode? I do not know, but it's in there. Yeah, I hope everybody is doing well. Sorry, there we go. That is live. We're all good. Let me kill the music. Hopefully it's not too loud. I hope everyone is doing well. We're on Mario Eve here, Super Mario Galaxy Eve. We're gonna be doing that, and even then, we got Daredevil tonight, me, and maybe just Dylan Taylor. He can't do 2 episodes because and then Kirkland's always fucking sick now. Either he's sick and got something going on, like there's something possessing him, or there's an alien in his body, like a Prometheus style, or he's just making excuses. But no, I think he's actually not feeling good. So we'll see. It might just be me and another Dylan episode. And then, yeah, Mario, which, it's funny, right? Because I feel, how do I say this? How do I go about this, right? Because I listened to newscasts where Dylan said he wasn't going to be on Mario, and then the Star Fox McCloud poster came out. He got his tickets, right? And honestly, reviews this time are worse than the first one. The first one had 59% Rotten Tomatoes, which means it's still rotten, but still just on that cusp, right? But now, what is it? Oh, I think Metacritic's like 35. Rotten Tomatoes, I think it's 49. And there's been a SBub share one, but I've seen so many reviews really highlight what I've said before, where the first Mario was cutscene the movie, right? And that's where, again, you can enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, enjoy whatever you want. We all have a fucking movie that's rotten, reviewed very poorly, people hate, and you love it, right? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it just feels like with the second one, there's more like knives against her. People being like, I don't know about this. I was there in 2023 saying like, hey, this is a lot of good memorabilia here, a lot of good junk food nostalgia here, but as a movie, it's nothing too incredible, right? And I get it. It's tough because the Mario cutscenes or the games, that they don't have much story to them. I think always the hope was, well, that's why this is a different medium, to take that and make some more of an adventure and a story, right? And it seems like and here's a good thing though. It sounds like it's maybe going to be more. It could be lesser than. If you enjoyed the first one, I think you're going to enjoy this. Taylor's like, oh, I'm a different man. Nah, Taylor. He's still giving like 9.5s to Jurassic World Rebirth. Don't believe that man. He's just saying it. He's definitely a bit more critical nowadays, but don't believe him. There's certain franchises. Nah, man, he's giving those higher marks too. But what was I going to say? So yeah, that's going to be on tomorrow night, obviously live in the podcast feed the next day. But it will be interesting to see how it goes. I'm just there for hopefully it does well, and then I can get the projects I love, and hopefully those are better. And I shouldn't say that. I do love Mario. It's just that I've kind of given up on it already, right? So you know what I'm going to do? Give me a second. I need a window open for sure. It's summer. It's spring. It's getting hot. I can feel it. Oh no. The window's locked. Oh no. I'm gonna cook a little turtle shell here. Oh thank God. Woo. That's why you tuned to Travis Told You, to hear me fight with a window and see my hair a little off kilter. But let's get into this because we got lots to talk about today. So yes, Mario review. Going to be a good time. And then newscast on Thursday, 8 p.m. Going to be a fun time talking about drafts and what we've been watching. So very good time. Thank you to everyone that listened. Again, last time for March is the last day, but March did incredibly well for us. So thank you very much. We very much appreciate it. We love you all. Whether you're watching the videos, whether you're listening to the feeds on podcast feeds, whether you're listening to ad-free feeds, whether you're on Discord, we very much appreciate all of you. So thank you very much. And yeah, let's do this. So today, we're talking Supergirl. We're talking Backrooms. We're talking Cape Fear. We're talking Euphoria Season 3. And we're talking He-Man. And we're going to start with Supergirl. I will actually bring it up, I guess. Let me bring it up here. Usually I don't do breakdowns by myself, but just to remember everything that happened in there, because I did watch a couple hours ago. But so far, It's interesting, right? We were talking about this a lot in the Discord. Just the past, I think we've been talking. Supergirl is one of those, maybe just DC in general. I'm excited to see what Clayface happened, like what happens with Clayface, because I feel like there are tons of Marvel films that don't get talked about, right? Just like, yeah, that's fine. DC always, probably just because they've had such a, like even 2012, like 2008, right? Like you could say that's when it started with being talked about with the Dark Knight and the thing that happened with Ledger, and then what's going to happen with Dark Knight Rises and Man of Steel. Like it does feel like, other than I'd say maybe even 2022, when they released all those movies that kind of just sunk, right? Like The Flash and Shazam, it's still like, what are they going to do? Like there's rarely a dull moment with DC, right? And I think it is because they've had such a turbulent couple past decades, really. I don't know, but it's been all over the map. So we've been talking a lot about this lately. We talked about a lot about this yesterday because we got the teaser and Superman was in there, and we did a lot of drafts. All of us, we did our drafts to see for box office pool, and that was a sticking point if people had in their top 10 or didn't. So with Supergirl, I enjoyed that last trailer, but here's the thing: I am a comic book connoisseur. I'm gonna watch all these. I think I've seen every comic book movie. I think there's a couple what we talk about. I think there was a couple like the old Captain America, right? But I am very close to seeing them all except for Craven. I don't know when I'm going to see Craven. I haven't decided to do like if I do a watch along, if I do a reaction, even though I don't think it's even that great. Like I don't know when it's going to come up, right? Maybe someone will pick it as Patreon producer. I don't think so. So I don't know, right? When am I going to watch Craven? Why should I watch Craven when there's so much to watch? I digress. But with Supergirl, or even with Superman, right? Starting the DCU, how's it gonna do? How's it gonna play, etc. Now, Supergirl, it's okay. How's it gonna fare in the summer? How's it gonna fare as the second DCU thing? How's it gonna fare now with all these test screenings and everything? That's one thing I didn't talk about yesterday. Test screenings. I guess I should go back to what I was saying because again, hashtag tangent, right? Shout out to our third episode that we talked about on the flashback episode on Patreon. And if you want to listen to this episode ad free and get everything we do, all the exclusive episodes, all the ad free episodes, go to Patreon. You can go become a Patreon producer, vote on things, get every tier, get over 50 episodes this year exclusive. It's a good time, including the flashback episode where we talked about stuff from 2015. I generally like superhero fair stuff, right? I'm a superhero fan. My two favorite genres are horror and comic books. That's the two things I grew up with, right? It was Batman, Superman. I didn't grow up with Superman. Like he was around, but he was my guy. Like Batman, X-Men, Spider-Man, and then Goosebumps, that type of stuff, right? So I always love those franchises. So the first trailer that came out, I think it was a lot of, this looks kind of like a general comic book movie, but to me it looked like a better one. I enjoyed the trailer, and that's where it's like I'm always going to usually like just an average comic book movie, but then still you need to do, especially after everything that's happened, I don't know, since I'd say 2012 and on, even 2008, but just like you need to always be kind of reinventing the wheel a little bit with the superhero stuff, right? And I'll say especially more so actually after 2022. That felt like the breaking point of, okay, we need to see some new superhero movies, right? And then a lot of movies suffered in DC and Marvel. So I looked at the first trailer and went, this looks great. It looks like a good time, but I don't know how it's going to fare for the mainstream, right? This trailer, I think, was definitely a better trailer, definitely a big story trailer, gave multiple hooks. Millie Alcock's looking phenomenal. And that's what I was going to say. Apparently, there's been lots of test screenings, right? And I've seen people be like, oh, well, it's test screen 8 times. No movie test screens 8 times. It's like, well, one, we don't know that. It might be no movie that's of this tier, sure. But at the same time, I've talked about this many times. I remember I was there for the BVS fan screenings or whatever that happened a couple weeks before the movie came out. And everyone was talking about how it was on the same level as The Dark Knight, right? And then it comes out, very mixed, controversial movie. Just had its 10 years, so congrats to that, right? And it's been talked about quite a bit in a certain camp. Certain people still fight over it. I think I think if you're in that fan base, if you're in the Snyder fan base, because I love my friends at Vodka Stream, and I was on there a couple weeks ago, and I listened to this episode this week, and they're talking about, oh, people still talk about it. They do, but also like lots of camps that I run with don't talk about it at all. It all depends on where you are and what bubble you're in, right? But still, that movie was talked about a lot upon release. And then when it came out, controversial. Test screenings really don't matter. I guess if it's all across the board, fail, 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 yeah, sure. Of course they matter for the studio, but us as the viewer, you don't know who's watching you. You don't know whose type it is or flavor. It's the same reason why you guys listen to all of us, right? You whether it's us or other podcasts or critics read, I have the same thing where even if I don't agree with like I have my certain podcasters I listen to, but if they don't like a movie, that doesn't mean, oh, I'm not going to like it. I know their likes. I listen to them for X, Y, and Z, and I'll go, okay, if they feel this about it, I might feel around this about it, right? And sometimes the good thing about, opinions, they can be all over the map. Not one thing is going to correlate to the other. So the test screenings kind of throw that all out. And I'm sure, let's say the movie fucking sucks, we'll be like, see, there was a problem. And yeah, sure, maybe there would be, right? But we've also heard that before. Same thing, you never know. Sinners originally tested a 3-hour cut that didn't test that well, right? And then also went on to become a Best Picture nominee and won many Oscars. Who knows? Maybe that 3-hour cut's great. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe that's why they do these test screenings. And not maybe that's not why, but that's why they can do these things, right? So for the actual trailer, I thought it was a great trailer. Thought it had a really good hook. I think Millie is looking really good, looking like a star power. I'll be curious to see how it does in the box office because I've said this before. Again, talked about this yesterday. 3 Superman projects in a row, I don't think was ideal. Putting it in the summer by Toy Story and a bunch of other stuff soon to be like Minions. I know, oh, it's a different audience. I don't think so. Like, here's the thing. I think the Minions and Toy Story crowd have the same audience, but Supergirl doesn't in a sense. I just feel like here's the thing. There's a Venn diagram of people that will see that because they are parents and have kids. And that's the thing where if they've already paid to see that or done that, they're not always going to be like myself. Me and my kids, like obviously I'm a part of different movie clubs for the different theater chains and whatnot, right? So I always find a way to save tickets, whatnot. Also, again, I can write off tickets, right? So it's a little easier for me, right? Not everybody's going to do that. And I feel like in the Venn diagram, all my girls 4, 6, and 8 want to see Supergirl. I don't know. I'm not putting a gun to their head. We're going to see them all. But if most kids have to pick, unless they're a big superhero person, which my kids are, so they could, but they also love Toy Story. They grew with the Minions. They are in that Venn diagram. So people go, oh, there's not much crossover. There is, and the parents will pick to see the animated stuff. In my opinion, they will go and see the children's stuff because it costs a lot of money. And hey, my kids really want to see that, right? So I don't think so. I don't think it is a non-issue. I don't know why I said I don't think so. I think people are that I've seen that claim that it's different. I don't know. Again, we also have to wait to see what the budget's going to be. And maybe if it's lower, that's great. But I think it looks like tons of fun. I think it is at least going to be a 7 out of 10, right? And sometimes those movies can blow up. Minecraft's a fucking, for me, 1-0 out of 10 and blew up, right? So it doesn't matter. It's right place, right time. But the summer is very, very tough, right? And even with Superman, like Superman wasn't gangbusters. And the other thing I'd said too is I don't know if it's better if they would have done Man of Tomorrow with Supergirl in it and then this own movie. I don't know. So we're going to bring up this trailer. Let's see. Buster Barnes. Let's see. Okay. As usual, as I've said before, because the show is an hour only, you got to join Patreon or send a super chat to get it read on air. If not, just hang on the chat. That's cool. But yeah, let's take a look at this right now. So you got Superman in there. I said that I'm not sure if that's like a... And I'm going to turn audio down because it's just me talking. I don't know if that's like a tracking. Let's get Superman in there. Tracking lower. Cool, Kara. And that's one thing I love about this too is, I guess I'll go back, is lots of, and I will make sure that it is actually up as I'm not on that screen. It is. Okay, good. Loving all the space stuff. There's some good visuals in here. Maybe not looking pristine, but as far as the sets or ideas around them, I guess I should say there's some good set pieces in here because there were a couple, not looking great. But this idea of throwing a ball to a dog in space, more of that, right? Tons of people want that with Superman, more of him in space. Well, they didn't do that with the last movie, do that with Supergirl, right? So, and this is great. Like, this is where, and a big shout out, I forgot to say it, and because I'm going to refer to him in a second, big shout out, happy birthday to Superbad Mike, fellow Canadian. I hope you enjoy Project Hail Mary. Whenever you listen to this, sir, I hope you have a good one. And yeah, have a good time. See some movies, big adventure, that type of stuff. This trailer and this moment here where he is talking about, hey, You're off world all the time. You're not going to be able to connect to the people, the planet. Come back and do that. And that's the thing that's where something that for her, we've hit I feel like they've hit this, us as fans, critics, Gunn and company, everybody have hit this nail over the head. But when we see the movie, it will work as far as, of course, Clark is sad about his world exploding, but he didn't know that world. He was just a baby. She had to live on that world and see everything go. So that idea for him of, well, be on this planet and become one of the people. I already had my people, motherfucker. You know, like that's the thing. And that's what that radiates as far as two things. One's the attitude towards that of like, no, I'm good. And the depression of that, right? We've seen what she can do, even in Game of Thrones and that, God, was it Sirens? She's a great actor. She has a lot of variation. She can pull off all that type of stuff. And I think it's going to be in a way where it doesn't seem clunky. It seems like she can be lovable and kind of a badass and then also completely broken down, right? She did that in Game of Thrones or House of Dragons, whatever, multiple times. So I think that's great. Again, more signs of Krypton being killed and everything like that. I do think that obviously it brought up in the Discord. This is her getting sent away. Again, she gets sent away when she's like, how old is she here? Like, whatever she's aged now. Like, she's like in her 20s, early 20s, right? Like, I can't pause it. There we go. She's getting sent away and Clark's getting sent away as a baby, right? So huge differences there. And I think that's where the movie can play the strengths well, right? Superman didn't per se have... I don't think Superman, if you look at his James Gunn superhero stuff, right? Squad, the Three Guardians, the Holiday Special, Superman, I would say, and I guess Peacemaker for sure, I would say yes, Superman is the least comedic of those, gets the most serious, but still very comedic overall. James Gunn did not direct this, he did not write this, but obviously that's some people's worried, and we talked about in the Discord, as far as, hey, with Krypton, with all the stuff, we want to feel it. You can have some levity, you have to have some jokes, and don't get me wrong, I'm that person. That's why we've talked about many times. For me, the person that I probably identify the most with in the MCU is probably Star-Lord. The music, the jokes. I am definitely somebody that if something bad happens to me, if I'm at a funeral, I can make a joke. I'm somebody, if I die, joke way. I think there's like when I go and say 95%, like there's 5% of things that I think can be offensive, and it's also like the way you say it, right? It's about how you say it. We've always talked about that. You gotta not punch down. You gotta bring people into the joke, right? And I love having a good time and humor, so I get that. I'm a person that can deflect or just even use humor as a crutch, right? I don't want everybody to do that, and that's the thing with the MCU. Some people do that too much, and I want every DCU character to do that. She can still be comedic and have a charm, but not equipping and not the James Gunn-esque type of humor, right? And that is some people's worry with this movie. I hope it's not. There's a few shots, but I think this trailer showed a good job of showing the darkness and how serious it could get. The question is, we're going to talk about this with the He-Man trailer. How much of that is this movie, right? How much of it is actually diving deep into it and is just showing right here, be like, yeah, we checked it off. She's not, because I was wrong about that with Thor Love and Thunder. I thought, because the whole thing was leading up to that was, oh, is he going to make the Jane Foster cancer story a joke, right? And he didn't. If you watch the movie, there's no jokes around the cancer stuff. I'm not saying he can't joke about cancer, but you know what I mean? Like, it was covered with levity. So when I first saw it, maybe like, or not levity, sorry, it was covered. Fuck, I lost the word, but it had some weight to it. When I watched that movie and I was so worried Taika was going to do that, I was like, oh, that's great. Phenomenal. Had a really great time in the movie, especially I saw it with Gwen, right? So whenever you have movie with kids, you got to have an asterisk on there. And then I've watched it like a half time again. After the fact, I definitely, much like Ragnarok, liked the movie a little bit less because I was like, oh, I was so focused on not making the cancer a joke, which it wasn't. It also, though, didn't get its full play, and they didn't fully dive deep into it, and that was the one shot they had at it. So, like, you know what? You did the thing, but maybe not well, right? So that's the thing where we have to see what's going to happen here. So her getting swooshed off to Earth somewhere, space, who knows? Her with Crypto. They're going to set up a very comic booky thing right here. Great shot of her with the headphones and the whatever. I'm going to skip ahead. It's just her partying, having a good time, obviously dealing with trauma, right? And there's this guy. Can't remember his fucking name. I've not read the comic book. I think we're going to try and do a comic book versions for this. June and May is getting very busy, especially now. Just with some schedule changing, we have to film a lot more of the third movie because one of our cast members is gonna be gone from July to a certain time. It's like fuck, okay. So it's still working, but it's like a lot more weekends or Fridays are gonna be what is it? I don't know, busy. I don't know why I couldn't think of that word. So this part, I can't remember if his name's Cray or Cress or whatever the hell his name is. Someone in the chat, let me know. So something's happening here. He's on a ship. Crypto's run at him. He gets shot. And there's this girl. I can't remember what her name is either. I think it's Dorothy or something like that. I can't remember. Again, I've not read the run. I will in the future. Crypto gets shot. Okay, he gets shot. And of course, he's talking to this person, the girl, the smaller, younger girl that's going to be on the adventure. She has a revenge tale. Looks like her family gets killed in front of her, wants to kill these people. Cool. That works, right? We heard it described as true grit. There's your true grit in there, right? Such a comic booky, and I'm sure he's going to have some Cram, I think it is actually. He's going to have some speech. We didn't see in here, but he shot Crypto. He's like, yeah, I want you to feel it. I want you to see what you love the most dies in front of you. All you have left is going to die again. Maybe there's something there. But the fact that he shoots him and just like, you got 3 days. So combo game. That is not a strike against this film at all. I just laugh. I'm like, okay, you get 3 days to save the dogs. Okay, cool. So, and that is a good. I've said this before. You need good hooks for stuff, right? You need a good hook for this movie, and that works where it's like, okay, you love Crypto, you love that dog. It's gonna die in 3 days. You got to save it. That works, and you got other hooks as well too, right? So, yeah, who knows? I can't remember who this guy's name is. Which it's Creme of the Yellow Hills. This was another line that made me laugh. Obviously, is it Ruthie? I think it's actually Ruthie. It's all coming back to me now. I think it's Ruthie. That's the female character, the younger one that's kind of looking up Supergirl, wants her to help her on this journey, get revenge of her family. I'm sure this scene is her explaining it, but she says she's talking about Creme of the Yellow Hills, who murdered my innocent family. And again, there could be more context. Maybe it was the middle of the war. It's like my family had nothing to do with the war, but just like, who murdered my innocent family? Not even just families enough. Like got a hit over the head. My innocent family. So it gave me a bit of laugh there. And that's one thing I will say from test screenings. We'll see what happens. Is everything that I've heard and been reported sounds like they've been working on trying to figure out if this is an issue. We'll find out. And if it's not, maybe they fixed it. Sounds like the villain stuff has all tested not great. Has all tested very like minor MCU stuff. And that's not the end of the world for me, really, because I've talked about this many times, and even to make the comparison to last year's Superman, you got a great villain in Lex Luthor. Sometimes the heroes just need to shine. Sometimes you just need a body here or villain. You just need a mustache twirly, destroy the universe thing. Reason MCU got in trouble for is because they kept doing that every movie, and that's where it's like, okay, they got a villain problem. I hate it after there's a certain point where people say, oh, they got that villain problem. No, they had that. Just because every project's not going to have Thanos or Killmonger does not mean it has a villain problem, right? Sometimes you need that. Same thing, we talked about this, and I have no problem with it. I get why some people might, but look at Logan, the movie Logan. Richard E. Grant and Boyd Holbrook, they are mustache twirly scientist, mustache twirly bodyguard. Cool. You know why? Because the story for me is about Logan, is about X-23, Laura. It's about Professor Xavier. What's his first name? Charles. Charles Xavier. It's about them and their stories. And even then, look at Clone Logan, right? Mustache twirly body villain. I want to focus on them. If you're telling me there's a 3.5 hour cut, then sure, give more to the villains. But I'm okay if the villain is nothing. But that's what I think I've heard the most is villain has a problem. So, okay, whatever it may be. So yeah, just them. We're going to fight. But I think this trailer was smart. Where it did 3 things. It showed Kara's struggle and more about the Krypton just hitting that over. I like this shot too, where Ruthie goes to the side and it's just Supergirl fighting and you just see the people slinging. That's fun. It shows that Supergirl is struggling with this and the more reason why and why she has such a chip on her shoulder. You got the plot line with Krypto, which I think is smart. People loved him in Superman. That starts it there. And then number 3, fucking Momoa as Lobo. I think he is not all over this trailer, But I think for the scenes that he has in the movie to the trailer amount, I don't think he's going to have many in the movie, but I think they're smart to just say, hey, I think it's going to be like John Wick and Ballerina, but I think it's smart to get him in there. Momoa's still killing it. People watch his shit. You know, he's part of Minecraft last year. People love him, right? And I think he's going to be great as Lobo. Everyone's thought that, right? He's going to kill it and destroy that role. So I think this trailer is very good and very smart. Like this type of stuff. This is stuff people are wanting from Superman, right? She's shooting against another laser in space. And there's another shot too. There's a bunch of ships like exploding and she's going let's see if we get to it here. That shot wasn't, some of that stuff wasn't looking great. This shot, I know what they're going for. I've said before, this is the second time they use it as a hero shot. It's her holding this big metal rod and she's throwing this ball around. And it's like always the first time I see the costume. It's not great. It's not like a cool hero moment. You know, it just doesn't, it's not playing well for me. Momoa on the ship taking people out. This right here, where she is just, can I do? Yeah, we'll go slow motion. She is fighting ships in space, avoiding a laser, avoiding meteors, and she's flying around. That's cool stuff. Like that's stuff that you do want to take advantage. And that's where I think is very clever of them. Well, what they did with Superman, we're going to do something very different here. So I think that's good. That's looking good for the most part. Suit still looking fantastic. We see more of it here. And this is a great little line here. Your eyes are beautiful when you cry. Millie Alcock going to kill all that stuff, man. She's going to be great. I'd be surprised she's not in our Golden Geeks Best Actress, at least as a nominee, right? So, no, I think that's what's great about this trailer is the emotional beat and showing that. And that's where that last trailer ended with, Superman sees the best in everybody. I see the truth, right? That's more of this. That's more seeing Kara in this different light. I think it's a great trailer. Lots of fun. This end of the part of the end here where Supergirl and Momoa fight. Great. Fantastic. I am very excited for this. Again, I'm not expecting it to be earth-shattering good. I'm even 5 hits a 7. That's just where I am at. Okay. I don't know why I said okay. It sounded like K was like an army. Okay. That's where I am. It's getting hot out here. We're gonna have to do some patio pods outside soon. But the problem is daytime. It's hot. It's warm. Let's get to the questions here. Okay, John, we'll do your question next because I'll bring up that trailer next. Maddie, I'll do yours last because obviously that's do the trailers. And then we'll do Mike's right now because it's about comic films. Superman Mike, again, happy birthday, my good friend. Can you rank the 4 major 2026 comic book movies based on how well you think they will be in terms of quality/critical reception? I'm, for this question, Mike, just going to go critical because quality is tough because I guess I can quickly give that, right? For quality, I think Brand New Day has the chance to be the best one, or Clayface. I think because Clayface could be very simple and easy. So I feel like I would go, and maybe this could be my ranking for critical as well, right? Spider-Man, Clayface, Supergirl, and Doomsday. Supergirl could easily be above Clayface. I just think Clayface is going to be a very point-A to point-B horror film. It's written by Mike Flanagan. Hopefully obviously there was rumors they did some rewrites, but hopefully the bulk of that is kept. And I'm a big fan of Mike Flanagan, so I enjoy almost all his work and think he's one of the best writers out there, directors right now. When we did our horror Rushmore in October, I put him up there. So that's where I just give a bit more edge to Clayface. Brand New Day, I could be wrong. And even critics, right? Like critics wise, I think, because it's tough with horror movies. I feel like if you're a mediocre, bad horror movies, the critics will punish you and go harder down. You're like, it's just another horror movie. Kind of like what they do with comic movies now or have in the past. But if it's great, it's like another gem of the franchise, right? I don't know. That could kind of go either way. So that's why, Supergirl and Clayface are back are beside each other. Doomsday definitely has the biggest. I don't think Doomsday is going to be number one. No matter what, I just don't see that. I see people calling it messy, a cameo fest, nostalgia bait, all that type of stuff. I don't see it being number one for critics. I could see it being number one for myself. Do I think so? No, but I think there's a chance. I'm somebody that's definitely been super pessimistic on this movie. So I don't know what that says. I guess it's just still I have some faith in the Russo brothers, but everything that's happening in the MCU and all the rumors we're hearing, I have not been a fan of. But I still think they could pull off the Hail Mary. They really could. I do think they can. If you ask me yes or no, I'm gonna say no. I don't think they will, but I think there's a percentage. I think it's like a 70-30. And that's the thing. Infinity War, Endgame, even though they didn't win the Golden Geese those years, those movies fucking ripped, right? And I love those movies. Endgame is my favorite MCU movie. For a multitude of reasons, right? So it could for myself. I don't think critically it will. So I feel pretty good in the Spidey, Clayface, Supergirl, and Doomsday. The only one I could maybe flip is Supergirl and Clayface because Clayface could suck. And then, like I said, because of the horrorness, they'll just take it to task. So who knows? We'll see. Let's bring up. I don't need to bring up He-Man. I'm sorry. If I think the only one I might bring up is like. I'll probably bring up Euphoria. Maybe I don't know if I will. And plus, I don't know what on the screen I can show. There's some racy stuff in there, right? So we'll see. So maybe I won't. So John asks, excitement level for Master of the Universe. Haven't heard much from anyone. Looks interesting, but nowhere near the other big movies coming out. That is also the same thing as far as I've done this before. I'm gonna do it again, but the same thing to go towards Supergirl, right? Once people get these trailers, because I even forgot. Oh, it's neck crack Travis told you time. Oh, there you go. Some good ones. Before we saw Hoppers, we were talking about, what trailers we think we're going to get. Well, I was talking with the girls. And it goes, okay, we're going to get Mario. And I can't remember. There was something else. Shit, I can't remember what it was. But it's like Mario and something else, and the other ones I don't know. Right? But then we got live action Moana, which I already forgot about. We got Minions, which I'd forgot about, and there was one other one too that I was like, right, that's coming out. You will start to now. There's gonna be that first movie, and that's where we're getting a lot of trailers this week with Mario, right? That's gonna be the first really, really big movie. Project Hail Mary, of course, is big and successful. That is gonna be massive. The fact that it's supposed to be like 350 million opening weekend, like for obviously worldwide. Massive, right? It's tracking to be doing the same or better. I think the newest tracking today had it doing better than the original. I think it will. I think the hype of it, I think Mario on Nintendo's always growing, new characters. I think it's just a family event, right? That is the first gigantic movie really coming out this year. So you get all those trailers. And just like myself, I go, right, there's Moana, right? There's the Minions, there's all this stuff. So what happens is, Mandalorian and Grogu, that was on. I completely forgot about Mandalorian and Grogu. I talked about it yesterday, but I completely forgot about that. But that was in the kids section, right? And it makes sense, family, and it does look very kiddie. So that's where people start doing the real estate. It's just like when I talk about us filming here. I have the Geek First calendar, and the dates start to fill up. Fuck, I should throw that up. Like, you want to see you know what Trash told you, listeners? You'll have to pull the video. Here, you can see my life for a second. Because me and Taylor had to figure out some filming-wise stuff. I'm like, let's figure out what day works for us to film. Look at the fucking GV schedule for May. Right? Look at that. And those blocks, you might be like, oh, look, 28th, 29th, 30th. Those are open for you guys. No. Spider-Man Noir is out. So we're watching all that. And then James Bond's out. Fucking Christ. There you go. Sneak peek to some stuff we got planned for May. But just like a calendar, like in people's lives, it starts to fill up, right? So the people that don't see every movie, like us, that just pick and choose, they're going to start putting the real estate in their mind. And maybe there'll be a couple where it's like, okay, let me see what people think, right? But Mario's one of those that they will just go. And same thing as far as He-Man. What are He-Man comes out, which they're smart to get out June 5th before all these really, really big things. But even then, Mandalorian and Grogu's out, which I don't think that's a must see, but it's higher on the tier. I would keep that before He-Man or Supergirl as far as doing good. But then after that, it's like Toy Story and then Minions and Monsters, and I think all the ones I'm listing off right now are ones that I think are half to see. And even then, if I get to 4 or 5, audiences will only pick sometimes 2 of those, right? So the must-haves, to me, I'm saying that even if they do see all 5, it would just be these 5 and nothing. Maybe for the rest of the year, right? Toy Story, I think, is a lock. Minions, I think, is a lock. Moana's a lock because of families. I think the Odyssey is a lock because of where Nolan's been going. Spider-Man Brand New Day is a lock. And I think that's it. So that's 5 locks right there. So you're asking people to go, if they're seeing these the family ones to spend a lot of money, right? So that's why He-Man's another one that I don't think is going to do well. And I also, John, I just think that I don't. I've said this before. I think He-Man is possibly one of those franchises that is kind of DOA. It's in the past. No one cares about it. No one. I just mean like in a general broad, right? No one is. Not enough people grew up with it. It's aged out. The same way I would admit with the Muppets and Looney Tunes. As much as I love those things, they just don't play like they used to, right? There's fucking cowards all around me that talk shit about the Muppets all the time. I love the Muppets. I agree with that shit, but lots of people didn't, right? So that's the thing where I think He-Man is like that. This movie I will not see in theaters because I just listed off all the things that are coming out. I need some breaks, and He-Man will be one of them. I think a lot of people will feel that way. These trailers have looked like fine enough. The first one I think was fine. It was like, all right, like better than fine, above like I think slightly above average. I don't know. Minorly above average. I don't know. I guess I trust Travis Knight. I've liked everything he's done. There's things that look fun about this. I think this trailer was better than the first, but it still also looks like very comic book adjacent. I agree with Mike that I think that a lot of this stuff in the action and with him in the He-Man outfit could be very much near the end of this movie, and half of it takes place on Earth, which would suck. But I do appreciate that both trailers end with that fight with him and Skeletor, because they know that looks cool. That it looks every time I see the trailer, like that fight looks sick. So I think the thing is, I think if you're a He-Man fan, it looks good, but I think with a lot of the color schemes and the storylines, it looks also skippable if you're not a He-Man fan. And that's where I am where, as I talk about with this comic book stuff, I have a connection to that stuff, right? I don't even have that big of a connection to Supergirl, but I got a connection to Millie Alcock, and what I saw in the slightly bit of Superman in the trailers, like, okay, I'm in. Nothing in here looks like a great performance. No one looks bad, but nothing that way is pulling me in. And I don't have any reason to, like, there is nothing special about it, right? So at least superhero movies, even nowadays when they have nothing special about them, they still could bomb, but they still have a bit of a bigger base audience. And He-Man, I don't think Masters of the Universe has that. Like, I don't know where that is really. So, yeah, obviously Maddie asked a similar question, but yeah, I don't have any excitement because I'm not a He-Man guy, and it's not a situation too, and that's where we've seen that before, right? Where it's like, hey, I'm not a fan of blank, but these trailers, I can't have an example, but I feel like it's happened to all of us over podcasting years, right? I don't care about this at all, but these trailers locked me in, right? They got me excited, they want me invested, or they made me want to get invested. Let me look in this franchise. Let me look in this IP. These aren't doing that for me. So yeah, that's Master of the Universe. Backrooms. Very interesting trailer. I loved this trailer. I think this was great. I hopefully will be seeing this because, again, busy month. I've talked about how I want to see Undertone, and then it was here for 3 weeks and then gone, right? And that's the way life is. Sometimes if I can't see on a certain day, it's gone. 5 kids, 3 jobs, great times. Big adventure, fun stuff, you know? So this looks great. I've seen very little of the YouTube series. I had to learn more about once it was announced. I've said before, I'm terrible. I'm a podcaster. I'm on YouTube, but I'm not in the YouTube sphere at all. Like, I don't even know like half the people that are big, like even like fucking like Iron Man Marky Pillar. Like, that's how I learned mostly about him, was through that. I think I'd seen his face before, but I couldn't tell you anything about him, his name, etc. Right? So with this, what I do appreciate is, I think the scale with the budget they're doing, because I've seen what they do at the Backrooms, and it's just, I can't remember the term, but it's a space that keeps going on. You can't find the end point to it. It's a great like conspiracy, horror, claustrophobia, like what's going on here. I think that is a phenomenal idea, and kudos to the director Kane. The marketing's been doing this as well. I don't know how much pull the Backroom series has, like if everyone's going to go see it, what that makes. But it definitely feels like it is still for that audience, and it is capitalizing on that and expanding on that, which I think must be phenomenal for fans that love that. And that's the cool thing that I'm really happy for this guy, this kid. He's like fucking like 21 or savant. Like, I won't call him a savant, but savant as far as success. Good for him, man. He's directed a 24 film. Like, anyone that wants to do stuff like us, completely jealous, right? I can fully admit jealous, right? But he put in that work. He'd been doing the YouTube series for years, and I never heard of it, but enough people had, right? But this is the great thing of him not selling that IP and him being involved in it. Now, it being a trippy movie, we've seen this before where sometimes trippy movies can get in the way of themselves and it gets too trippy. I feel like I talked about that last year with a couple movies when I did my movie rundown. There's a lot of just like, well, you make up the ending. And you can still do that, but there was just a lot of certain type of movies that had that where it's like, okay, so I think a lot of this trailer is making me seem like, okay, it's going to be, I think Act 1 and Act 2 are going to be great. It reminds me a lot of, funny enough, similar situation with Shelby Oaks, where I really enjoy Act 1, Act 2, but much like other people, Act 3 kind of, other than have some good scary parts and visuals, kind of falls apart, right? And that's where I could see this. And a lot of like heady horror can do that. It can fall apart near the end because they're doing big themes or out there, right? That's always a fear, is like having that bad or not even controversial ending. Controversial ending's fine, but a bad ending, that's something, right? I'm not even saying that. I just looked at this, went, okay, how is this going to end? So, but what I was going to say is there's a moment where Chiwetel Ejiofor, he's working like a furniture store and he finds a hidden door, which is all great. Like the build up, good pace in this trailer. He's looking through this area. He can't find the end of it. He's doing some experiments. And then what they decide to do is, okay, well, we're going to send some people in there tied up to cables so we can pull them back and send them in with fucking cameras. If you don't know that, again, I'm not even a fan, but I just thought that was great. All the backroom stuff, like the shorts and everything on YouTube, are like old 2000s video camcorders. And that's like, looks like portions of this film is going to be found footage like that. Again, that's the great thing of not selling IP. There's a guy that grew up with this IP, nurtured it, loves it, and it's still his vision. And that's what's cool is I literally think it's not going to be like we're starting over. Because I think there's one shot in there that from the small bit that I checked out was something I had even seen. And I was like, man, I feel like if you were watching all the backroom stuff, it's going to fucking tie into that. Like, and that's super cool, right? Now, obviously, there's a risk of going too inside baseball. You don't want to do that, but hopefully he doesn't. And I'm very excited to see this. Love Chiwetel Ejiofor. Renee, I did this yesterday. I'm going to call her Renee. From the one performance I saw from her, she's great. So if life lines up, I will definitely be there day one. I want to support. If not, I'll buy on VOD. Granted, it's not like a shit fest as far as reviews, but I'm excited for this one to check it out. Cape Fear, man. This is one I'm very excited for because there's just certain movies that you hear, because there's sometimes where, again, we talked about this with Potter, right, last week. There's certain times you hear, hey, a movie's being turned into a TV show and it's a pure cash grab, or it's, oh, this franchise is dead as a movie franchise. People won't go to pay to see it, but they maybe see it on their cable, their streaming, their network, etc., right? This, to me, it's been a long time. This is one of those announcements, like Harry Potter, to me, that goes, oh, this fits perfect for a TV show. Because I don't know if there's a Cape Fear book. Maybe there is. But I feel like with the Cape Fear movie, and obviously what they're doing is, if people don't know, Cape Fear was, God, Jessica Lange, Nick Nolte, and then Robert De Niro. Jessica Lange and Nick Nolte were a married couple. He's a lawyer. He put a guy away. I'm not going to say what, because obviously in the show that happened. Or like that's the big thing of this trailer, showing like, oh, what did we do, right? There is a twist or some stuff, and it's a good morality type of movie, right? It's like, what are you willing to do to stop bad people, right? But in that movie, it's just Nick Nolte is the lawyer and Jessica Lange is like the wife, and they have marital problems, right? With this one, they're both lawyers, but even without that stuff, and Robert De Niro, aka Javier Bardem, is Max Cady? Is it Max Cady? What the hell? Am I screwing his name? I feel like I am. Or is it just Max Cade? It's Max something. It's Max Cady. Okay. Oh, I said Cade. Okay, Max Cady. And De Niro, great in that movie. And it is very much Scorsese has a few horror movies in his itinerary, and that's one that's like kind of cheesy, but on purpose. It's an interesting movie. Definitely give it a watch. But I don't know if there's a book, but just the plot of that movie and now the changes they made, you go, you know what? That is perfect for a show. You could definitely expand and get deeper into certain things. And this is a day one watch. Also, there's lots of series now I'm behind on. But with Javier, Amy Adams and Patrick Wilson. Patrick Wilson's great in the Nick Nolte role. Amy Adams obviously changed that role, but that works fine. Or works great. Amy Adams, phenomenal actress. I wonder, did I have her in the Best Actress tourney? I think I did, right? She was a contender. We knocked her out. She didn't make the top 32, but still, she was there. But Javier Bardem, man, like one of the best. I should have had him in, but he's also some guy that has not worked as much recently. But Javier Bardem is still one of the best working actors. Him as Max Cady is going to be, I think, something special. I think it's going to be very similar. I know they are unfair mediums. It's going to be how, hey, Anthony Hopkins was phenomenal as Hannibal Lecter, but my Hannibal Lecter is Mads Mikkelsen. He has multiple seasons, longer TV. I get it, but still, even if I could take that Hannibal and put him in Silence of the Lambs, I would. I think Javier Bardem is going to do that for De Niro or Max Cady. I think all the TV awards he could get for miniseries he's going to win. I think he's gonna really bring it. Javier Bardem, this is a dream role. So yeah, I'm very, very excited for this. Cannot wait to watch this. And then finally, Euphoria season 3. It's interesting because it's quite the journey. I talked about this yesterday, where obviously it's been a while since season 3. We're getting the synopsis and that first trailer, and I'm somebody I'm throwing the red flag. I'm ringing the bell like something's not right. Something's going on. Because I said that a lot of the storylines seem to not be together. Now, that's the good thing is, one, I think this was a very well-cut, good trailer. It made it feel epic. Now, I don't want to feel epic in the sense of the new poster where you look at the first 2 seasons poster, very artsy. The third season poster is an MCU floating heads poster, right? I'm not saying that, but it just felt like, wow, we're returning to these characters who have these very, very emotional, very dramatic things going on in their life in these storylines. And it is very elevated drama, not to the sense of elevated horror. I mean, like, it's teen stuff looked at as like a fucking bank heist or a robbery, right? Like that's where like it's over exaggerated drama, I'd say, and all that, right? Like people talking about, oh, these kids in these schools, lots of stuff does happen, but lots of it's also over exaggerated, right? So I think they did a good job of establishing all the characters again, showing their paths happening right now, showing characters actually interacting. We got to see Maddie with Zendaya, but I was worried because I saw Maddie with whoever Maud Apatow is in the last trailer. So she's there with Maud Apatow. She's there with Zendaya. She's there with Sydney Sweeney. I hope it's not just well, she was free and she can be in all these scenes with these characters, right? That's still my thing. I need to see what happens because me and Emily were talking about this. Is it that they all meet at the wedding and then they split off and you see their stories, or is it leading to the wedding? And like the stories are separated that way, right? Because that would be the bigger push is, hey, we're going to build them all meeting together. But at the same time, then it's a little disappointing that at the beginning it's a big premiere, but then you don't get them together maybe to like the finale. Maybe you don't even do that, right? I think there's signs this trailer for both of them. I don't know. I think if I'm leaning with the wedding starting out. I really am. I think it starts the wedding. Work our backwards there. Look like Nate Jacobs going to get in some trouble. You know, people are fucking up his house. We'll see what happens there. See how much he's like his dad. Great as always. You know us here at Geeverse. Big fan of Eric Dane. Fantastic to see him in the trailer. Just 100. You remember me? And you know, how could I forget? Obviously, they got a history and a past there. Cannot wait to see the scenes he gets. Again, as I've said before, this is a personal thing. I give 0 fucks about all the Zendaya drug storyline stuff. And it sucks because I think that's going to be a lot of her storyline. I'm not there for lower tier Breaking Bad stuff, right? And like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying the stuff in the original show is really bad. I just... It's fine. It's to me the weakest stuff of the show. I'm not interested in it, right? Because I just don't, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't think Rue's going to get killed by these fucking drug dealers or go to prison or whatnot, right? I think she's going to make her way out of it. I could be wrong, but we'll see. Looks like she's funneling drugs, all that stuff. I hope it's not too much, but I think that's going to be Zendaya's most of her arc. So I don't know. We'll see. Great to see Coleman Domingo. I really hope that they're hinting at Rue being off the way again. I hope that's not the case, especially like season 2 ended in such a good way. I'm fine if she's like fighting with it and almost does it, but if she does do it, I know there's been some time, but it's like, I don't want to just start over with Rue. And I know that happens with addicts, right? But they did that a lot with the show. I don't want to just start over there again, especially when this could be the last season, right? We don't have any episodes yet, and very well could be the last season. These people are very busy, very expensive now. So, yeah, everything's looking much better. So, I'm more optimistic with this trailer. Like I said, we will be reviewing it. I'm hopeful it can be a good show, but I had previous worries I could still be there, and Sam Levinson is coming off the Idol, and the Idol was not great, not great. Maddie, to end us off, asks, how would you rank these trailers in terms of excitement for the projects? Which I always wonder, Maddie, right? Because you don't ask me to rank the trailers, it's excitement for the projects. And that's where it's just like, I'm going to do both because I feel that the excitement for projects is very easy. Supergirl's number one. Euphoria is number two, but that's just because of the past. And I will say this trailer is better. So I think it was a good trailer, but that's still a rocky number two. So I'd say Euphoria, Supergirl, Euphoria. And that's the thing, if I were to have a crystal ball and they told me Euphoria is the same quality as season 1 and 2, then that's easily number one, Maddie. I just don't know. It's iffy, right? So I'm going to say Supergirl, Euphoria, Backrooms. No. Oh yeah, that's true. Now it is tough. I'm thinking about this. I was thinking about Cape Fear. I'm still going to put Cape Fear at number 3. There's a chance I could put it again. If my worries are true, then Cape Fear is easily number 2 because I think Barnum's going to just destroy and eat, bringing lots of gasoline to the party. But I'll say Supergirl, Euphoria, Cape Fear, Backrooms, and He-Man. He-Man definitely last. And again, I think almost like Backrooms, Cape Fear, and Euphoria could be better than Supergirl. But as far as excitement right now, that's where I am. As far as the best trailers, I would say it would go probably Backrooms, Supergirl, Euphoria, Cape Fear, and then Master Universe last again. I think that Backrooms trailer was really good. That got someone that's non-invested in the IP just off the bat invested. So no, I'm looking very forward to that. So yeah, I think that is everything. There's not much other big news that's broken, which I'm happy. We'll be talking about. I'm hoping the other news breaks. What is it? For the newscast. If not, we got some good evergreen topics. We'll talk about that stuff. I'll check my feeds just to be sure. But let me take a look and see next week what's cooking here. So next week, because I'm still trying to do Two Trash Told Yous. Let's see. Why am I on side quest this Monday? It's fine. I didn't know that because when was Kirkland on last? I feel like it should be Kirkland's turn. Oh, because Kirkland's hosting. I see. Kirkland's hosting is when I'm in Vancouver with Dylan. Okay, don't worry. It's all forgiven, Dylan. Next week, so. Fuck, The Boys. Is that true? Does The Boys start next week? The Boys season 5 release date? April 8th. Oh boy, okay. It's a good thing. So it's a good time to be busy and have a fun time. I will for sure not Two Trash Told Yous because I obviously Easter Sunday and Monday I would not be available. And then Friday I won't be available because I'll be getting ready to go to Vancouver. So that only leaves me with Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll see. I might do something on the Tuesday then, I think. I think next week will just be a oneer. Because I'll be on side quest. I got Daredevil, got The Boys, and then a newscast, and then there's a holiday, and then I'm packing for a trip. So yeah, I think that's what's gonna be. So expect one, same thing like this week, unless there's massive news, then I'll do another one. But even then, we have a newscast and I'll be busy other times and there's big casts coming out. Like we try not to release big stuff after a big episode comes out, right? And we got Daredevil and The Boys. So yeah, I think expect one Trash Told You on a Tuesday. If there's not much news, I might skip that week because I do have to pack and get stuff ducks in a row. Emily is a fucking goddess and let me go to Vancouver. It's my first trip in when the last trip I went with, not that she can't handle it, that's why she's the best, but I haven't had a trip just by myself in a long time. I can't remember last time I went, like Probably 2.5 years ago. Is it 3 years ago now? No, I think it's 2 years when me, Kirkland, and Tara, and that was a work trip, but we still took a trip to go to location for a whole weekend to film for Love, right? So if people don't know, we locked ourselves in cabin. You get to see that either. I'm not gonna say when. You get to see if you're patron, you'll get to know why. But yeah, so I've not been on a trip in a while, so I gotta get some ducks in a row. Also, spend some time with the family and whatnot because I won't be seeing them for a little bit. And because she's watching all 5 kids and the dog, she's just crazy superwoman. So yeah, expect likely one Travis told you next week on the Tuesday, but don't not 100% locked in. Until then, thank you very much for listening or watching live, and it won't be boring.